And then the other thing that you were referencing, the guitar, we went and saw the Geils Band. Woo-wee! The original bad boys from Boston, the funkiest band in the land. The Geils Band are fun because they still have a hype man beforehand.
Oh, I like that.
They come out and he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, the mighty, the strong." And then they had one of their credits was three-time Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominee.
Oh.
Like, nominee?
Yeah, you can't get in there. Huh?
Yeah, it's embarrassing. First of all, they should be in.
These guys almost got laid.
Yeah, but it's like one time I saw a guy at a bar show in Boston years ago. He brought up a guy. His credit was, "This guy is hilarious. He just wrote a movie script. Not sold it. He wrote a movie script." You're like, that's not a credit.
Right.
Anyone can write a movie script. My sister wrote a movie script. It was pretty good.
Wait. What's the Geils Band's big hit?
Well, here's the thing about the Geils Band. The hits that people know are when they kind of sold out. They did some 80s pop hits. They had Freeze Frame.
Ugh.
They had that one.
That's trash.
And then they had Love Stinks. Ooh, yeah.
All right, I got to get out of here.
And they had, the other one from that time was Angel is the Centerfold. My love runs cold. Remember that video was great.
Yeah.
In the classroom. So those that's kind of where the band kind of started breaking apart because Jay Geils was a sort of a blues guitarist, R&B. They used to be like the best live band. They're still amazing. In the 70s, they had Must Have Got Lost. I'm sure you're familiar
that's a
with.
good song, yeah.
Yeah. What's the name of that chick with the long hair? Rapunzel. So they had those hits like that, and Give It To Me. You've got to give it to me. Don't touch the knob, because I think we're going to have some fun with this one. They have that one. So the 70s, they were kind of like this power rock, blues, R&B, and then they went a little poppy in the 80s. Everyone got shitty in the 80s.
Everybody. There was cocaine.
Yeah, nobody was safe from shit. Scorsese, Jackson Brown, everybody went a little cheese in the 80s.
Yeah, I'm from there.
Yeah, although After Hours, most underrated Scorsese movie.
I love that movie. You introduced me to that movie.
Yeah, it's tremendous.
Good stuff.
Anyways, and technically Raging Bull is an 80s movie, even though it's complete 70s.
Feels 70s, yeah.
Well, shot in 79. Anyways, off on a tangent here. But anyways, we went and saw the Geils Band. I brought my dad and my Uncle Greg, who's a hoot. Because my dad he's a quiet little muffin, you know?
Yeah, he's a real peach, that guy.
He's got a mustache. He doesn't really show a lot of emotion. So I'm not good one-on-one with my dad.
No one is.
So I bring my Uncle Greg along, and this guy's a hoot. He's one of these fun guys.
Is he the littler guy?
He's not little.
Who am I? I'm thinking of Dale.
Dale, maybe. Yeah,
little Dale.
This is great. He's not actually my uncle. He's my brother-in-law's uncle, but we call him Uncle.
All right, I like that.
That happens everywhere in the country, right? You call your dad's friends Uncle.
I've always loved that little tradition.
Yes. If I had a baby, you'd be Uncle Mark.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm not going to have a baby.
I'm not going to be an uncle.
Maybe you'll be a baby, and I'll be Uncle Joe.
Wah.
So anyways, we go to the show, and my dad and Greg, they're smoking weed. They're having a blast.
Oh, your dad smoking weed?
My dad smokes weed.
Whoa!
Maybe I shouldn't say that on the radio.
Nah, he's fired.
But I can say it on a podcast.
Yeah.
So anyways, we go there, and it's at Harbor Lights, it used to be called. Now it's called the Bank Boston Pavilion, whatever. But it's right on the water, South Boston, beautiful, sun setting, perfect weather, end of summer. And they come out, and they just rip it and rock it. It was really fun.
Wow.
Great show. I saw them in 99 and the House Party Tour, and I was in high school, and it was one of the best shows. I always say the 26 best concerts I've ever seen were Pearl Jam, but the 27th best show was Jay Geils. And I was a little worried because now they're 70 years old.
Oh, right.
So they're getting up there. So I was a little worried they weren't going to be able to bring the heat. And my Uncle Greg saw them like 15 times back in the 70s. My dad never saw them, so it meant a lot to me. And it was my dad's birthday, and I bought the ticket for him, and they smoked the weed, and we danced the night away. Really great show.
Is it a lot of fogies around? A lot of geezers?
Old people, but people that still rock. It's people in their 50s and 60s, but they rock and roll, you know?
Yeah.
It's a great party vibe, great show. And afterwards, man, we had a blast, and we're driving back, and Greg's truck is dying. And on the way there, my bus broke down, side of the highway.
Wow, that's like a Springsteen song.
Yes, I'm driving up there to go meet my dad for birthday concert. The bus starts puttering.
Oh, I hate a putter.
And then it dies in the middle lane of the highway. So now I'm like, we might fucking die, because everyone's doing 70 miles an hour. You got to get over 2 lanes.
Right.
We eventually do. The bus is dead on the side of the highway. We all get out, and people are walking around. One Asian woman, I Instagrammed it. She starts hitchhiking.
Wow.
Which, have you ever hitchhiked?
For about 10 minutes, and I freaked out.
Yeah, no pickup.
No, I got picked up, and I was like, I gotta get out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was in New Orleans. It was in the city.
Man, woman?
It was a man.
Oh, interesting.
He was a little loopy, and I was like, I'm gonna get out of here.
I bet he had a beard.
He had a beard, and I got in the bed of his truck.
I can tell he had a beard. A bed of the truck?
Eventually, I just knocked on the glass. I go, I'm good. I'll get out the light, and I just jumped out.
Don't tap on the glass. Wow, that's bold. What are you, 12, 15?
I was probably, a strapping 16.
That's not bad.
We did a lot of kooky.
Yeah, you were kooky.
Different times, folks.
I picture you with your pant legs rolled up and straw in your mouth.
I had a stick with a bag on it.
Yeah, one of those things.
Riding the rails.
So anyways, so we're on the side of the highway. The woman starts hitchhiking, which I'm like, what a fucking retard. I took a picture. The next bus is coming
funny.
in
So
40
Asian.
minutes. Like, you're hitchhiking? What are you, crazy?
Yeah. Was she English speaking?
Yeah, she was like an American. She was like a young Asian girl, like an American Asian.
I'm picturing like a lady who picks up cans.
No cans. She's like she had cans.
Ah, that's rare for Asian women.
Tits.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, she was just like a college girl or whatever. I think she thought she was being like hippy-dippy, like, oh, whatever, man.
Right.
I'm just hitchhiking. And you're like, well, you might get raped.
Yes.
You're really increasing your chances of getting raped
Right.
in a hitchhike situation,
Yeah.
I feel.
How close to the destination are we?
101 minutes or 100 miles.
All right, so probably about 70 miles.
70 miles, maybe. Yeah, it was about that. I know we were just shy of the Massachusetts Turnpike, so about an hour away. Anyway, so we stand on the hot side of the highway, and another bus comes and picks up like 8 people. It had 8 seats left. And they're like, we'll take 8 people.
Oh, how does that work?
So people just came running. If you were by yourself and you didn't have luggage underneath our bus.
That's you.
I was up there for 4 days. But I didn't care. I was like, you know what? I'm ready. I had 4 hours to get to there.
Okay.
So that bus leaves, but people will get wild. They're like pushing and shoving.
Of course.
It felt like the Holocaust.
Yes.
But they're different a little bit.
Auschwitz.
So there's gas in the truck. Bus.
Oh, boy.
Well, that's going to be a spicy one.
Oh.
I'm talking about my fart.
Yeah, Dutch oven.
So anyways, that's the preferable of the ovens.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Those Dutch, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, Germans don't. Anyway, so she drives away. The next bus comes. We all get on the bus. Hunky-dory, happy story. We get back to the concert here, and then I get in Greg's truck after the concert. His truck starts breaking down.
Come on!
I'm having bad vehicle luck, folks.
What are we in a Mega, a Bolt?
Bolt. I'm a Bolt guy.
Okay.
Yeah. But they all break down occasionally.
They're usually solid, but all right.
Yeah, Bolt is the best. So then Greg's truck starts sputtering and spattering. Then we're in traffic. He's freaking out because we're sitting in traffic. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. He's got to work the next day. You know, it's like a Thursday night concert. Mm-hmm. So finally we get out of the traffic. We go down Route 18 here in the southern Massachusetts, back to my hometown of Whitman, used car capital of New England.
Ah.
Yeah. So we're driving. We pull up to a red light, and there's a guy taking a right turn. He's just stopped in a tow truck, excuse me. Mm-hmm. He runs out of the tow truck, runs up to us. We're in a pickup truck. He comes running up. He's like, hey, guys, did you see that? Did you see him? Which way did they go? Ah! He's freaking out. We're like, what the fuck? And these two are stoned, my dad and my Uncle Greg.
Yeah.
They're stoned. It's 1 a.m. We're gay. So the guy comes over, and he's like, where'd they go? We're like, we don't know what you're talking about, dude. He's like, the carjackers. I just got carjacked, man.
Whoa.
And we're like, what? He's like, 2 guys, 2 teenagers. They came up. They tried getting in my passenger side door. Luckily, it was locked. I'm freaking out, dude. He's like, you got a phone? Who's got a phone? It reminded me of Goodfellas.
Shit. Yeah, without the N-word.
Yeah. Well, it was on the tip of his tongue. You could tell.
Ah, yes.
It's Boston. Anyways, so he goes, you have a phone? I was like, well, I got a phone. I could make a call. He's like, my phone's fucking dead. He's like, we got to call the cops. He's like, I don't know where they were. He's like, they freaked the fuck out of me, man. He's like, this is crazy, man. He was like, kind of freaking out.
Did they get his car or they didn't get his car?
No, they tried to get in, but like, I think he's just at a red light, long end of a working day. You know, the Springsteen song.
Yeah.
He's at the red light, and all of a sudden, a couple of, teens start banging on his window and pulling on the door. He's like, ah! He starts freaking out. So the kids run off, but they would have gotten in if his door was unlocked.
Sure.
Which they sound like amateurs to me.
Yeah.
So they went scurrying off into the used car lot or whatever. That's all that's in Whitman. And so I'm like, well, I'll call the cops. And my Uncle Greg, He just wants to go home, go to work. He doesn't give a fuck about this guy.
And giving someone your phone is a worst feeling in the world, isn't it?
Well, that's what I said. I was like, I'll call.
Yes.
Well, you're always afraid you're going to get like naked texts or racist ones, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we start pulling away. Greg just starts going away. I'm like a good Samaritan. I'm like, don't worry, I'll save you. I'm calling.
Yeah.
So I call the Whitman police. I don't call 911. I call, 447-1414.
The local boys.
If you're interested in calling the Whitman police.
Uh-huh.
So I call, and I get the dispatcher. Now, here's the thing. Whitman's a very small town. Not much going on other than used cars and two guys in their 50s smoking weed. Mm-hmm. So I call, and I thought this is what was going to happen. This is what I expected. Hey, I'm at the corner of 18 and 27. Attempted carjack. His phone is dead. He's sitting there. See you later. I thought that would be it.
Yeah.
But they start going, this is the biggest thing that's ever happened in Whitman. They're going, all right, what's your name? What's the description? Where is he? Is there any blood? What kind of weapon? What's your sexuality? Your parents' name? And I'm like, no, I don't know. And like, could you put the guy on the phone? I'm like, we drove away. And like, you drove away.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, yeah, he's fine. They didn't get him. They didn't get the truck. He left.
I'm picturing Mayberry, just one cell with a guy in it clinking the bars with a mug,
Yes, exactly. That's what's happening. So he's like, well, what did he look like? What do you look like? What's going on? What pant size? And I'm like, I don't have any information. Meanwhile, we're going to Wendy's parking lot. So now we're in the Wendy's drive-thru. This is the most surreal thing. And my dad and Greg are like, get off the phone, you fucking idiot. What the hell's wrong with you, you dummy? And so they're like, what do you want at Wendy's? So I'm on the phone with the police, and I'm doing the thing where you cover up the phone. I'm like, give me a number 9.
Right.
And I'm on the phone with the cops. And I'm like, let me get a number 9, only ketchup. And they're like, pickles? I'm like, no pickles. I'm like yelling. The guy's like, what pickle?
Yeah.
They're wearing pickles? And I'm like, no, they're not wearing anything. Just large fry.
Right.
So anyways, I'm like, I have no description. And the guy's like, all right. What's your name? And I was like, my name is Joe List. And then he goes, the comedian?
Oh!
How fun is that?
How about that?
I go, yeah, I'm the comedian. He's like, what the fuck? He's like, I watched you last night on TV.
Wow!
And I was like, oh, thanks. And he's like, give me a hint. Do you win? And I was like, well, I can't say that. I'd have to go to jail. And he's like, He laughs, and he's like, anyway. So now I start talking much more plainly. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. This guy's a fucking knucklehead. Who knows? The cab. And I'm trying to yuck it up, and he's like, oh, boy. He's like, this is so crazy. And I can hear him talking like, Bruce, we got Joe List on the line.
Yeah.
They're talking. I'm a celebrity over there.
They probably watched the show at the precinct because there's nothing going on.
Exactly. Mayberry. Black and white TV with a coat hanger sticking out of the top of it.
Right.
So then he goes, all right, well, why don't I send the black and white over to your house and talk to you in person? So I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I give him my address, and while I'm giving my address, my uncle and dad are looking back. They're eating fries, looking back, like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So then we're driving back, and I go, so Greg, you want to stick around and talk to the cops? He's like, fuck you, I'm out of here. We've been drinking, smoking, whatever.
Sure.
And so he leaves, and then we wait, and another cop comes, not the dispatcher. This is a new guy.
Well, you're the local celeb. They all want to meet you.
Yeah, new guy, but he's never seen me, and I got my fries, so now I'm sitting on my front lawn. He's shining the floodlight into my house,
I
my
hate
living
the
room.
flood.
My mother wakes up. She comes out. She's in a nightgown. She's like fucking, Tommy D's mother. What happened? What happened?
Right.
We hit a deer. Go back to bed.
She's clenching it in the middle.
She's clenching. So I'm outside now eating fries, just being like, I don't know. The guy, they tried to carjack. I have no information. He's there. And the guy's like, well, he's not here now. Like I'm somehow mixed up in this.
Sure.
And he's like, well, what do the guys look like? I'm like, I don't know what they look like. I don't know how old they are. I assume they're men. That's it.
Yes.
I got nothing. I just called to tell you to go talk to that guy because his phone was dead.
Right.
That's the end of the story.
That's it. You want to fry? Get out of my lawn.
Right. So this guy's like not fun. He's like suspicious. He's like fat white cop who's all like, I don't know about you knucklehead. And I'm like, I've never committed a crime in my 30s. So anyways, that was basically it. Then they scurry off. But then the next day I talked to my uncle, and he said as he was pulling out, the cop had his lights on, lights blazing, whipping down the street to get to my house to talk to me.
Jeez, so the neighbors are catching wind, I assume.
Yes, all kinds of wind. A lot of farts.
Queefing.
But it was pretty wild. That moment where he said, what's your name? And I said, Joe List. He said, the comedian. That was like, I made it.
That's legend. That's got to go in the biopic.
Yeah, it was real fun.
That's big.
It was pretty wild.
The local boys in blue, they're rooting on the local comedian. I love it.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. And then everyone heard, I was getting emails from buddies the next day being like, hey, good looking out. I was like in the police blotter and shit.
Wow, that's going down in the books with the Irish fight story.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was pretty wild. It was one of those. I texted you. I was like, I got a good one here.
I remember that. Yeah.
I got a fish on the end of the line. Woo. But speaking of good and big and crazy.